This is Kim Douglas. I'm the director of the Landscape Architecture program at Thomas Jefferson University, and I would like to share our human-centered design process with you. We believe it's what's needed for creating equitable, healthy, and resilient communities. So what is human-centered design? Well, it's a design process that allows neighborhoods to envision their future, produces designs not previously imagined by both designers and community members, and empowers neighborhoods to envision the future they want and need. It's a powerful tool for creating a framework in which people from diverse socioeconomic backgrounds can work together to turn ideas into action, which we see as critical to solving some of today's pressing problems. In this approach, the community becomes the center of the design process, and it begins with a simple question: who are we designing for and what are their needs? Through this empathetic approach, we integrate the community through all phases of the design process. We need a way of working with communities to empower them to make the change they need. In 2016, our college formalized our community outreach and established the Lab for Urban and Social Innovation. Lucy employs human-centered design strategies that unite communities, students, faculty, and stakeholders in collective action to empower and meaningfully contribute to the design of healthy, robust, and restorative built environments. One important distinction in our process is that we see ourselves as facilitators of the design process. And so by taking a participatory and collaborative approach to design, the lab becomes a conduit for realizing the vision of all communities and that they have the right to a healthy place to live. We believe our approach acknowledges that communities hold a wealth of knowledge about their neighborhood. That is critical to us being effective in our design efforts. Our approach is informed by the needs, desires, and habits of the community. This requires designers to listen to what the community wants, which serves to integrate the community into every step of the process, from pre-design research and dialogue, to feedback on design concepts, to noticing how the community uses the design. Our approach is to listen, iterate, and educate, get feedback, iterate again, and come to consensus. This process gives us the opportunity to build trust with those we serve, which is critical to these neighborhoods as they have been overstudied and overpromised. So I'd like to walk you through a case study to explain our process, as this project illustrates how we are using human-centered design. This particular project was designed, built, and maintained by the Manchester community. We started the process in November of 2019, and the park was built in the fall of 2020. It was messy, not always linear, but through our community-centered process, we built a 2,400 square foot park with the community. So step one is to form a community design advocacy group that starts to build trust. We ensure that the group is diverse and inclusive, which you can see in the example in the diagram, by employing consensus building strategies. We have buy-in from the stakeholders and therefore a more inclusive process. We also go well beyond the design charrette to include folks in as many diverse ways as possible, and you can see that on the list that I've included. One other important part of this initial approach is what we call empathy mapping. It's a strategy that allows community members to discuss their neighborhood. We start by asking about and listening to the strengths and assets of the community. This says to them, you're important and you have value, as we often dwell on the issues and problems of the communities, which only serve to reinforce negative stereotypes. Another strategy is journey mapping, which provides a timeline of events that have occurred in the community as a way of understanding impacts and acknowledging injustice. We ask the community to discuss and add what's missing to the timeline. We then help the community determine a vision and set guiding principles and goals that serve as a roadmap. This enables the community to take the lead in the design process as we are listening and being guided by them. This also keeps us on track as we can revisit the principles as we go through the process. We can then start the conceptual design, which we do by working with physical 3D components of the various design options. We find this method works really well with communities as they cannot read drawings, and it allows them to move pieces around to determine what the park will look like. It's a great buy-in tool. And we go to the community. They do not come to us. We attend their barbecues, community meetings, any type of gathering that is also already part of their fabric so that we do not add another event to their already busy schedule. Once a design direction is established and we have consensus on moving the idea forward, we continue to iterate and refine the ideas. We also always include the youth in the community, often hosting design charrettes with children. Part of the park process was actually to build this with the community. It's the best community outreach strategy I've ever used, as it's built trust as no other process has. So this is the park before, and here it is after. So while designers may not be hired directly by the community, the project is for them, not us. And so without observing their relationship to their neighborhood, understanding their history, and without earning buy-in from the community, we risk creating projects that no one uses. It's only sustainable if it's loved. Thank you.